Hello, my name is Ben Lovegrove, and in this video I'm going to read part 1 of 2 of the CAA's Safety Sense Leaflet number 1, Good Airmanship. The leaflet has been reproduced here in video format with the permission of the CAA. To download a copy of this or any other in the series to print off or to store on your device, please visit caa.co.uk/Safety Sense. Introduction. Although this guide is mainly intended for private pilots of fixed-wing aircraft, much of the advice will be relevant to all pilots, whatever their experience or the type of aircraft they fly. However, there are specific leaflets giving more detailed advice for helicopter and balloon pilots. Any review of general aviation accidents shows that most should not have happened. They result from a combination of the following: use of incorrect techniques, lack of preparation before flight, being out of practice, lack of appreciation of weather, overconfidence, flying illegally or outside license privileges, failing to maintain control, a complacent attitude, and the "it will be alright" syndrome. Comprehensive knowledge, careful preparation, and frequent flying practice are key elements in developing good airmanship, which is the best insurance against appearing as an accident statistic. Airmanship, according to EASA, is the consistent use of good judgment and well-developed knowledge, skills, and attitudes to accomplish the flight objectives. Knowledge. Reporting. Learn from the mistakes of others. You might not live long enough to make all of them yourself. Share your knowledge and experience with others, preferably by reporting to the CAA, your parent organisation, or the Confidential Human Factors Incident Reporting Programme, CHIRP, anything from which you think others could learn. Your report could prevent someone else's accident. Photographs often help to illustrate a problem. Improve your knowledge by reading safety information from official sources, such as the Air Accident Investigation Branch's monthly bulletin, the General Aviation Safety Council's quarterly bulletin, and CHIRP's GA feedback leaflet. Details of reported light aircraft occurrences are held by the CAA's Safety Data Department and are available for safety purposes. More specific information is available in other Safety Sense leaflets, in aeronautical information circulars available free from the AIS website, ais.org.uk, particularly the pink safety ones, in the CAA's safety notices, and in information notices, in manufacturers' letters and in other publications. Statistics. There is an average of 1 fatal GA accident a month in the United Kingdom. The main fatal accident causes during the last 20 years have been continued flight into bad weather, including impact with high ground and loss of control in IMC. Loss of control in visual Met conditions, including stall and spin. Low aerobatics and low flying. Mid-air collisions. Sometimes each pilot knew the other was there. Runway too short for the aircraft's weight or performance. And colliding with obstacles, perhaps being too low on the approach. A high proportion of stall and spin fatal accident pilots were not in good flying practice. Loss of control in flight is the major cause of fatal accidents in gliding and microlight flying. The main causes of twin-engine aircraft fatal accidents were pressing on into bad weather, often to aerodromes with limited navigational facilities resulting in control flight into terrain or loss of control in IMC, and loss of control in VMC, particularly following engine failure. Refresher training. Revise your basic knowledge and skills by having a regular flight at least every year with an instructor, which includes steep turns and spiral recoveries, slow flight and stalls, clean and with flap, so that you recognize buffet, pitch attitude, and control loads, etc. Practice at a safe height. Note: In a level 60-degree banked turn, the stall speed increases by about 42%. A 50-knot straight and level stall becomes 71 knots. If the aircraft is aerobatic or cleared for spinning, practice full spins as well as incipient spin recovery from a safe height. Aim to recover by 3,000 feet above ground. Forced landing procedures. Instrument flying and cloud avoidance. Takeoffs and landings including normal, crosswind, flapless and short. And if you fly a twin, practice engine out procedures and power off stalls. Manufacturers quote a minimum safe speed for flight with one engine inoperative, VMCA. Age and modifications may increase this for your aircraft. Limitations. You must know the aircraft's limitations and heed them. If it is placarded "No aerobatics," it means it. Know your own limitations. If you do not have a valid instrument or IR rating, then you must fly clear of cloud, in sight of the surface and with a flight visibility of 3,000 meters. If not in practice, you are not as good as you were. Preparation, documents. Make sure that your personal paperwork, license, rating, certificate of test or experience and medical is up to date. Also, check that the aircraft's documents, including certificate of airworthiness, permit to fly, airworthiness review and insurance are current. Make sure that the checklist you use conforms to the flight manual of that aircraft. Unfamiliar aircraft. Before you fly a new aircraft type, ensure any differences training is completed. Before you fly either a new aircraft type, one you have not flown for a while or one you do not fly often, study the pilot's operating handbook or flight manual and be thoroughly familiar with airframe and engine limitations, normal and emergency procedures, operating stall and best glide speeds, weight and balance calculation, and takeoff, cruise and landing performance. Familiarize yourself with the external and ground checks, cockpit layout and fuel system. For example, don't confuse the carb heat control with the mixture control. Even if not legally required, try to have one or more thorough check flights with an instructor, particularly if converting to a tailwheel type. In the case of single-seat aircraft, make thoroughly pre-briefed exploratory flights. Include the items in paragraph 4, refresher training. If you have not flown the type in the last 6 months, treat it as new. Many clubs require a check flight if you have not flown the type in the last 28 days. Weather. Get an aviation weather forecast, heed what it says, and make a carefully reasoned go, no-go decision. Do not let get there or home-itis affect your judgment, and do not worry about disappointing your passenger or passengers. Establish clearly in your mind the current en route conditions, the forecast, and the escape route to good weather. Plan an alternative route if you intend to fly over high ground where cloud is likely to lower and thicken. Note the freezing level. Don't forget to check on crosswind at the destination. The various methods of obtaining aviation weather, including codes, are described in the booklet Get Met, available free from the Met Office. Aerodrome and area forecasts and reports are freely available on the Met Office website, metoffice.gov.uk/aviation/GA. Know the conditions that lead to the formation of carburetor or engine icing and stay alert for this hazard. Check carb hot air at top of climb and periodically use it in the cruise and with the first indication of a loss of power due to icing. Once formed, it may take more than 15 seconds of heat to melt the ice. Check carb heat during pre-landing checks and use it at slow power settings as directed in the pilot's operating handbook or flight manual. See Safety Sense Leaflet 14, Piston Engine Icing. VFR Navigation. Use appropriate current aeronautical charts. See Safety Sense Leaflet number 5, VFR Navigation. Amendments to charts and radio frequencies are available through the VFR Charts section of the AIS website, ais.org.uk. Check NOTAMs, temporary navigation warnings, AICs, etc. for changes issued since your chart was printed, or which are of a temporary nature, such as a closed runway, an air display, NavAid or ATC frequency change. These are available on the AIS website, ais.org.uk. Information on temporary restricted or controlled airspace, red arrows displays and emergency restrictions is available on free phone 0500 354 802, updated daily, and also on 020 8750 3939. Prepare your route plan thoroughly, with particular reference to minimum flying altitude and suitable diversions. Familiarize yourself with the geographical features, time points, airspace en route and frequencies. Note masts and other obstructions in planning your minimum flying altitude. Note maximum elevation figures printed on the charts. Allow considerable extra height over hilly terrain, particularly in windy conditions, to minimize turbulence and the effects of downdrafts. Plan to reach your destination at least 1 hour before sunset, unless qualified and prepared for night flight. Note aerodrome operating hours. In any aircraft, the minimum height over a congested, i.e. built-up area is not less than 1,000 feet above the highest object within 600 meters. In any aircraft other than a helicopter, you must not fly over congested areas without sufficient height to safely alight clear of the area in the event of engine failure. This could be higher than 1,000 feet. Note: permit to fly aircraft may not be allowed over congested areas. Do not plan to fly below 1,000 feet AGL, where most military low flying takes place. See Safety Sense Leaflet 18, Military Low Flying, unless necessary. If your engine fails, you may need time to select a safe landing field. Know the procedure if you get lost. If you use GPS to back up your visual navigation, load and check the route beforehand. Double-check any waypoints when working them out and entering them. Progress must be monitored by map reading and not by implicitly trusting the GPS. See Safety Sense Leaflet number 25. Radio. Know what to do in the event of radio failure, including when flying special VFR in controlled airspace. Know your way round your radio switches. Note all useful radio frequencies, including destination and diversion aerodromes, Volmet, LARS, Danger Area Crossing Service, etc. Note the frequencies and Morse ident of radio navaids for backup to the visual navigation. Remind yourself about radio procedures, phraseology, etc. See CAP 413 Radio Telephony Manual and its GA Supplement and Safety Sense Leaflet number 22. Mass and balance. Use the actual empty weight and CG from the latest weight and balance schedule of the specific aircraft you are flying. Aircraft get heavier due to extra equipment, coats of paint, etc. Use people's actual weights too. Check that the aircraft maximum weight is complied with. If too heavy, you must reduce the weight by offloading passengers, baggage or fuel. Check that the CFG is within limits for takeoff and throughout the flight. If your calculations show that it will not stay within the approved range, including the restricted range for spinning or aerobatics, you must make some changes. Never attempt to fly an aircraft which is outside the permitted weight, CG range and performance limitations. It is extremely dangerous, sudden loss of control likely, as well as illegal, invalidates the C of A and almost certainly your insurance. See Safety Sense Leaflet number 9, Weight and Balance. Performance. Make sure that the runways you are going to operate from are long enough for takeoff and landing. Use the pilot's operating handbook or flight manual to calculate the distances that you need. Check for any CAA supplements that may downgrade the performance. Any factors given for elevation, temperature, slope, grass, snow, tailwind, etc. are all cumulative and must be multiplied, e.g. 1.3 times 1.2, etc. The performance figures given in the handbook or manual were obtained by a test pilot on a new aircraft, so, in addition to the published factors, apply a safety factor of 1.3 for takeoff and 1.43 for landing. These give acceptable safety margins and will offset an out-of-practice pilot or tired engine. On a few aircraft, these may have been included in the manufacturer's information as factored data. See Safety Sense Leaflet number 7, Aeroplane Performance. Short wet grass is slippery and may need a factor of up to 1.6. Fuel planning. Always plan to land by the time the tanks are down to the greater of a quarter of a tank or 45 minutes cruise flight. But don't rely solely on the gauges, which may be unreliable. Remember, headwinds may be stronger than forecast, and frequent use of carb heat will reduce range. Understand the operation and limitations of the fuel system, gauges, pumps, mixture control, unusable fuel, etc., and remember to lean the mixture if it is permitted. Don't assume you can achieve the handbook or manual fuel consumption. As a rule of thumb, due to service and wear, expect to use 20% more fuel than the book figures. Destination. Check for any special procedures and activities at your destination, such as gliding, parachuting or microlighting. Update the UK Aeronautical Information Publication or other flight guides with NOTAMs from the AIS website at ais.org.uk. If your destination is a strip, remember that the environment may be very different from the licensed aerodrome at which you learnt to fly, or from which you normally operate. There may be hard-to-see cables or other obstructions on the approach path, or hills, trees and buildings close to the strip, giving wind shear and/or unusual air currents. Before going to a strip, it is suggested that you are checked out by an instructor or someone who knows the strip well. If you can't arrange either, go by road and have a look at the potential problems for different wind or surface conditions. Assess the slope. It may be visually deceptive. See Safety Sense Leaflet number 12, Strip Sense. You must obtain permission by telephone, unless otherwise notified if the destination is prior permission required, PPR. Even if permission is not required, if flying non-radio, always phone to find out the procedures. Prepare a flight plan for filing on the day if you are going over a sparsely populated area or more than 10 nautical miles from the UK coast. See UK AIP en route 1.10 and Safety Sense Leaflet number 20. Flying abroad. Make sure you are conversant with the aeronautical and customs regulations, charts including scale and units, e.g. feet or meters, airspace restrictions, etc., for each country you are flying over. Their individual AIS website may help. Remember, an IMC rating is not valid outside the UK. Ensure you know how to find weather forecasts and reports for your return flight. Take the aircraft documents, your license, and a copy of interception procedures. AIP ENR 12 and Safety Sense Leaflet number 11. Before crossing an international FIR boundary, you must file a flight plan. Check that it has been accepted and the departure message sent once you are airborne. See Safety Sense Leaflet number 20, VFR Flight Plans. Check the Terrorism Act's restrictions on flights to and from Ireland, Channel Isles and Isle of Man, UK AIP Gen 1.2.1. Ensure you have informed Customs and Immigration if you are returning from an EU country and not using a customs aerodrome. See AIP Gen 1.2.1.10, 1.2.1.11 covers flight from non-EU countries. In some countries, for example Germany and France, it is a legal requirement to have a 760 channel radio, which can transmit and receive on frequencies between 118 and 137 MHz. Flight over water. The weather over the sea can often be very different from the land, for example sea fog. When flying over water out of gliding range from land, everyone in a single-engine aircraft should, as a minimum, wear life jackets. In the event of an emergency, there will be neither time nor space to put one on. The water around the UK coast is very cold in winter and cold in summer. Survival time in normal clothing may be as low as 15 minutes, about the time needed to scramble an SAR helicopter, but not for it to reach you. A good quality insulated survival suit with the hood up and well sealed should provide over 3 hours survival time. In water, the body loses heat 100 times faster than in cold air. In addition, take a life raft. It's heavy, so recheck weight and balance. A life raft is much easier to see and will help rescuers find you. It should be properly secured in the aircraft, but easily accessible. You will not have much time. Make sure that the life jackets, survival suits and life raft have been tested recently by an approved organisation. They must be serviceable when needed. You are strongly urged to carry an approved emergency locator transmitter or a 406 MHz personal locator beacon and flares. Remain in contact with an appropriate aeronautical radio station. Know the ditching procedure. Pilots and passengers who regularly fly over water are advised to attend an underwater escape training and sea survival course. See Safety Sense Leaflet number 21, Ditching. Pilot fitness. Don't fly when unfit. It is better to cancel a flight than to wreck an aircraft or hurt yourself. See Safety Sense Leaflet 24, Pilot health. Are you fit to fly? Check against the I'm safe list below. I. Illness. Any symptom. Medication. Your family doctor may not know you are a pilot. Stress. Upset following an argument. A. Alcohol and drugs. Fatigue. Good night's sleep, etc. Eating. Maintain blood sugar level. Plan to use oxygen when flying above 10,000 feet. Use it at lower altitude when flying at night or if you are a smoker. More carbon monoxide in the blood. Do not smoke when using oxygen. If you need to wear spectacles or contact lenses for flying, make sure that the required spare pair of glasses is readily accessible. Wear clothes that cover the limbs and will give some protection in the event of fire. Avoid synthetic material which melts into the skin. Especially in winter, warm clothing should be available in case of heater failure, diversion or forced landing. You can get very cold and wet on a mountainside even in summer. Use the seat belts and harnesses provided for everyone's protection. Wear a helmet in open cockpit aircraft. That's the end of Part 1 of the CAA Safety Sense Leaflet number 1, Good Airmanship. Part 2 is available on my channel in the CAA Safety Sense playlist. If you have any additional tips or experiences you would like to pass on, then please post a comment below. Subscribe to my channel and click the bell to be notified of the next video in this series. Please share this video within the General Aviation community so that pilots and student pilots can benefit from the advice.